Okay.
Move to audience.
I feel like I could share my screen before Tildo started sharing.
And
this.
we're live.
So I wonder if... Yeah,
Great.
I can share
Okay,
it now.
try it now.
Oh.
Maybe it's only
Hey,
one person
guys.
who can share it.
Yeah, I can share the game.
Oh, okay.
So only one
Well, it
screen
looks
at
like
a
then we
time.
can only have like one screen to be shared. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, you can start by just walking us through the new menu, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
For those of you that are watching, hi. Yeah, there have been some updates to the menu and all of these windows. I guess I'll just show you around. So it's very, I say, Windows-esque. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. It might be the best to change it to English. So, sorry about that. So yeah, we went for the retro style, which I think is quite exciting. We try to apply that to almost every menu in the entire game, and we've started doing this with the main menu and the pause menu, which we'll see in a moment. And yeah, I think I might just start it. Oh, there we go. Some of the already existing saves, and start a new one. And start new world.
Good. That fade out. I hate it. Can you remove that and then just so it goes away right away, and then you see the ship flying off?
I mean, it can be
Yeah,
faster.
we'll try that.
No, just off and then.
Yeah, I don't think things should just go off though, like instantly.
No, instantly, instant feedback.
People tend to think that instant jump cuts are a bad thing, but if you look at modern media, jump cuts are everywhere.
No, I mean the ship flying off, etc., is fine, but like the UI fading away, hate it.
Yeah. Like this,
Yeah.
the jump cut, no fade, no nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. This is also quite new for me, just saying.
But messages tutorial, okay, we can, this can go.
Okay.
All right, good. Okay, well, you play the game and get the blue solvent, I guess, and then in the meantime, we do the rest of the, I guess, the stand up from last sprint, and then we go right into our retrospective, and then we do sprint planning.
All right.
Okay, cool. Then, so how's it going today? Wednesday, end of sprint. Where are we?
Oh, are we ready? Yeah.
Yeah. Did we get everything done?
Yeah. So this the main menu, pause menu. I took it from Leon. Yeah, I basically implemented everything there. There's only like a few things to hook up and put together, some fixes, some new functionality. So there's a pull request for this. The conveyor belt stuff was also merged, so this is amazing. Yeah, I think there was like one small fix, but I don't exactly remember. This also was merged, the decals. I found out just when I was testing the build that for some reason they're in editor, but I think like the shader is stripped in the build, so I've got to figure that out and make a new one. Yeah, and then all these things down here are also merged. Yeah, so basically the reaction stuff. Yeah, I just joined a little bit ago and talked to Leon about this, but so there's an issue coming from Blender where I've got to figure out how to actually get these armatures. I was fiddling with it for about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour before this. Couldn't figure it out. So this is the only thing that actually didn't make it in. Everything else is in.
Right. Yeah, and So for me, as Tony was saying, there was an issue with the agents picking up stuff from conveyors. So if they were trying to pick up something that was actually gonna be inserted in a converter, obviously that item will be destroyed and they will actually get it will cause a crash when you try to pick it up. So that's fixed. And also, I ended up adding another thing, which is something I guess we wanted to add for a while, which is for example, if they are picking up an item and the item is actively moving somewhere, this used to happen with like trees, wood shopping, and the wood parts would get thrown away, and they would still go pick it up on the original position. But now they update the position that they should go to, and this also works for the conveyor belts. So if they have to, if there's like nothing that's not standing still. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I finished up this body part stuff. It doesn't include the body parts actually. It's mostly the decals. So they get that thing. They get the decals on their body, and they also get like a backsplash. So it does like a raycast behind them to see if there's like some wall or something behind them, and it applies a decal there as well. But it's mostly just like having the base system for us to keep improving it when we come back to Blood and Gore. And yeah, I think that's about it. I didn't really have time to look into the crane issue again. But we have it mostly diagnosed what's the issue, and we'll see from there. Yeah, and I think that's everything from me.
I think the game might have crashed. There we go.
Okay. That might happen a lot, so keep going. Save a lot. Save a lot. Yeah. Okay. Good. Then anything else when it comes to the last sprint? Sprint 49. Gosh, it's been 50 now. Then.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Okay. Good. Then I would say let's go right into the retrospective. Huh?
Oh,
Okay.
should I stop the game for that?
Yeah, sure. And I'll do the Peter board then. So okay, the good, the bad, the ugly. So for everybody watching, what are we? So we are rating our sprints, which usually take 2 weeks. This time it took a little bit longer, 3 weeks. And yeah, so we give us feedback about these. What was cool? Yeah. So what were we categorize this in mad, sad, glad. Glad, obviously, whatever made us happy is going there. Sad is if something didn't work out as planned, that makes us sad. And mad, usually when you are mad about something yourself. So it's like your own feedback to yourself. Yeah. So who wants to start?
Maybe I'll go first. I only have
All
a
right,
few of them.
let's go.
Yeah, for the Glad, I really like the agent conveyor item pickup. I think it makes the early game a lot more enjoyable. You don't have to set up a bunch of stockpiles, organize a bunch of things, just to have like kind of like a basic, very basic production in the beginning. So that's great. Yeah, lots of fixes. So kind of we spent a lot of the sprint just having you guys playtest, and every day would come into the daily stand up, figure out what needs to be fixed, and I'll try to have some of that stuff so you guys can keep going forward with the game. So I think that was really nice for a while. We got a lot of things improved there. Yeah, we did establish I think a good foundation for Blood and Gore. The decals are working, and yeah, I think that'll be an important thing, but we have to just get back to it later because in the short term we're going to focus on something else. Yeah, and I like the new menus. I think they match our style a lot closer. Like what you see in game is pretty much the same as in the main menu now. Yeah, and just sadly, I think we missed the sprint just short of it. But I think considering we did a lot of, I guess, bonus tasks or things on the side, it doesn't really affect if it was a good sprint or not. Yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Would anybody mind if I go next?
No, go ahead.
Nope, go for it.
All right. Let's begin with the obvious. Unity GUI. I've been told this is the common reaction when working with Unity GUI, but I feel like this is not made with humans in mind. Yeah, it's almost esoteric, but yeah, let's not dwell on that. On the other hand, a lot of learnings in Unity is not only in the way how GUI is handled, but also the file structure, the whole nature of the whole program, what system is actually used to organize the whole sort of theater stage that is Unity. And I feel like
How
there's
many beatings you can take.
Hmm?
Also, how many beatings you can take as a developer.
yeah. But in general, it's just very valuable knowledge that I only think is useful for the future. Lots of satisfying bug fixes, very much. I feel like when you play the game, that it still crashes from time to time, but you don't run into frustrating bugs as fast as you did before, which is awesome. And the blood decals. Yeah, the blood decals is an almost small detail, but it makes the whole thing much more believable and exciting, which sounds strange, not that I said out loud, but it sort of sets the idea that what you see on the screen is not just pixels and voxels, it's actually some sort of world that is alive, and all of these red pixels are actually flesh inside of the bodies. And I feel like that's a lot. It's a big step towards immersion. And yeah, I was gone for a small while. While not really gone, I was working in the background, but usually during nighttime, European nighttime that is. And I couldn't really attend many of the meetings or the live streams because of university and a conflicting schedule. But that should be fixed now. There will be some days where I can't be here, but these are a minority from now on. And yeah, Aaron, our newcomer, does some incredible stuff in Photoshop with his pen. I hope you all see what he's done. Maybe the one who shares the screen can zoom in on his work a bit further above
Sure.
for the rest to see. But that's it for me.
And I would
Thank
go
you.
next.
Please.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I worked in Photoshop most of the time. So I'm very glad I got some streamlined workflow. Made a lot of improvements. You had loads of learnings in Photoshop, which is something that surprises me actually a little bit. I thought I knew everything. Also very glad that I love the work that you give me, that you let me do the artwork, the designing the miner. I think that's very that falls right into my niche. I think I can contribute very good with that. And something that makes me a little bit mad is that I have the feeling that my output is not as high as I have anticipated. Drawing takes a little too much time for me. Yeah, but I think that's something I have to live with, and yeah, next time I'm better prepared.
Okay,
Cool.
I can go next. I have only a few things. Yeah, so this part always kind of reminds me of like Soviet show trials where the defenders had to accuse themselves. Just kidding. Um, so this whole Kickstarter prep was kind of slow. I guess we can now talk openly about it after I dropped the ball on keeping it secret. So I got sidetracked, especially because I was hunting for the blue solvent, which took a lot of time of my table. Um, and there's still so much questions, so many open questions. So once again, you're reminded to go into that document and make some comments. Otherwise, we just use the perks that I made up essentially. Um, uh, yeah, so that could have been faster, I guess, even though we're not in a hurry. Yeah, talking about the blue solvent, that was like I never had so much fun playing the game because it gave me a purpose. Just not my whole life, but just playing the game gave me a purpose. Because it brings in structure, it brings in goals, it brings in kind of a flow. It also brings in what we haven't been talking about, some form of grinding, which is necessary to kind of pad out the gameplay. And also people, it's like the term grinding is some most of the time you're seen in the negative light, but in our genre it's also kind of necessary and people like it. So that was part, I don't know, making 60 silicone units. That was kind of grindy, but it was also fun because it's in the back of your mind, and you get a sense of you kind of, I don't know, fulfillment once you have like created such a crazy amount of resources and stuff. Um, yeah, and I strongly advocate to have this in the demo as well, some form of goal that we communicate to the player what they should be able to do. Otherwise, it's just sandboxy. And people and sandbox style play is great if you're the creative type, but for many players, I assume they will like you drop the game rather quickly if there's not a purpose or a goal. Um, yeah, I'm also excited about the blood. So from what you shared, Francisco, what was it already pixelated blood? Because it looked very clean.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because like the resolution we have for it might be too
Yeah.
small. So even if it's pixelated, it doesn't look exactly pixelated from that distance. I think it definitely needs some adjustment to how it looks.
Yeah.
Because one thing is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
detail itself, which looks very
yeah.
good when you work on it, but then in the game, it just might need to be adjusted to give the same look from a different distance.
Yeah, and we can share. Maybe we can share the short video that you shared in Discord. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did make it public.
Oh, it is public. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
in the dev stuff.
Yeah. So people can go check that out and comment on it. Yeah. Like I've been saying many times. This pixel blood or wherever this blood and gore is going to be a huge part of the appeal of the game and what's gonna sell the game, make it interesting to people. That's what I believe. So I find it super exciting and super important. Um, what else? Oh yeah. This sprint I also saw the machine animations the first time in action. Even though not all of them have been implemented, like this kind of cartoony, I don't know what it is, the chemical plant,
Mhm.
the pipes.
Yeah,
I
the
was
Looney
looking for
Tunes,
that.
Looney
Unfortunately,
Tunes
it's
type.
not in there yet, I guess. Yeah, a huge difference again. Amazing. And also, maybe we can already preview that. So we're working on a web comic. I'm excited about that. It's just a small thing, just something to give to our community. Kind of flesh out the lore a little bit. Excited for that. Great idea from Aaron. Um, yeah, that's it for me.
Demo when?
Yeah, I can go
Wanna
next.
or... Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, so let's see, what was I glad about? Yeah, I think all the, like, a lot of the stuff from the artists, it was really, really impressive. I mean, yeah, like the animations, the this lucrum miner, which actually I made a separate note for, just because it's like looking at it, it's like so much more visually interesting than a lot of like our earlier machines. And like and like with the building animations as well that have come in, like even those older ones are now like given like a new life almost. And yeah, it's like hugely impressive. Yeah, I also think that that like UI work is super slow, so it was really nice having someone else taking that on. And like when I pulled the branch down, it's like everything was done and extremely close to the mock-up already. There's just like cleanup and some like hooking together. It's actually kind of I have another mad, which is even still, like like in the end, there's just so much like things to link back together. It still ended up taking me most of a day, just to like fix some things and add some new controls and yeah, just make sure like everything is working since so much stuff had changed. Yeah, so also I think that there is some like this isn't really a mad or anything. I think that there's some room for improvement, in the workflow, like with making branches and everyone kind of working, in the project. But I think that just comes with time. And yeah, I absolutely love having everyone working on it. It's really cool. Yeah, let's see here. So sad, mad. I don't know. Like yeah. So doing this again. Yeah, I'd made a message about this. Like kind of wondering again. Is this the final UI? Or are we gonna have to come back through and update all the textures and all the buttons and all the whatevers, with like different pixel art, because like I said, I was just talking about how long just this took, and we basically had all of the stuff already in. It took Leon, I don't know how long he actually worked on it, but a long time, I know. And I'm sure next time it'll be faster, but even still, it's no joke, revamping these things, even if almost everything is the same. Yeah, mad as well. Yeah, this like Blender thing, and mainly I'm frustrated because I know that we've done this before, and then when I looked at the file again, yeah, like the armature was coming over broken, so the animations couldn't be used in Unity without making a lot of changes to the blend file. And so yeah, so basically we'd fixed this before, we'd gone through it together, but that was quite a bit ago, and so now I've got to re-figure out what we did. Yeah, I guess glad again. I'm super impressed with like all the changes. Especially like being gone for a little bit and then coming back. Like the conveyor pickup is so cool. Yeah, it's like such a good idea. There were so many fixes as well. I feel like Francisco was working like overtime or something, doing all this stuff. And then yeah, also the menu update, yeah, is really impressive. Yeah, Aruba was great. That was super fun. Yeah, I also think that that like with the fixes, what's kind of happening is that agents are getting like, I don't really know what else to call them, but ghost patches, right? Like they just keep getting fixed and improved. And so ideally, like every time we get like a new build, you'll notice like, okay, agents are doing something better. They're making more sense. They're kind of working a lot better and like less rigid, less useless, I guess. Yeah, I'm also really excited about the Kickstarter. I think Till's doing a really great job putting that all together. Yeah. Also, yeah, it was kind of early, so I'd forgotten, but like the polishing work we did as well. I think it's really exciting having like a thing for VFX and sound effects. Yeah, even if for now it's like mostly the bones, just having like the blood particles playing, when somebody gets hit, it's cool. And like having, the same particle system, but just like gray, just having some kind of like feedback is really cool. Yeah, I'm excited for this optimization sprint. And then I also really liked some of the weird tasks, like this blood one that I worked on for, I don't know, a little bit, just like making like a goofy shader that dries over time, and then like this, yeah, like another mon behavior that kind of controls it. It's just like completely different, but just like a nice weird thing to work on for a little bit.
Thank you. So, yes, super glad Aaron had his first dive into working with us in a 3-week sprint. For my taste, it was a bit too long, but given the circumstances, I think it was the right thing to do. The next sprint probably gonna be much shorter. We're gonna talk about this in a minute. Then also incredible work by Leon. Loved this. Yes, also having like this feature Francisco was working on, that agents can now take stuff off the conveyor belts, and then also while in the sprint continuously iterating on it and making it better. For example, at the beginning it was like agents could only take stuff when items have stopped, because we were wondering, okay, well, we don't want them chasing down the conveyor belt items. And well, the solution was, well, they're chasing, they make a priority, they want to take the ones which have stopped first, and then ones which are moving like as a second thing. And then also updating the global uh, inventory account of items, including the ones which are on the conveyor belt. And it made so much sense. That made so much sense for the whole game, that I was like, why didn't we think of this before? It was a real game changer, and I'm super happy that we um, took that bite and then never let go, and then actually, yeah, have it as it is now. It's really great. Also, really happy about what Till said. I see the same thing. So play testing, I'm advocating for it all the time, that we play test a lot, that we actually drink our own Kool-Aid. And play testing somehow slowly evolved into fun testing. Yeah. So we are looking out for, well, is this fun or is it not fun? And some things incredibly, somehow, miraculously make fun now. And this is where we want to head. Yeah, we want to see this, and actually, it's a great relief for me to see suddenly that a game can make fun. Yeah, by just having like these little things come together, and then yeah, love to see much more of this. And we're gonna have like endless discussions. I remember when Tony and I were working on Dominion um, alone back then, and then we were constantly adding stuff and also constantly taking stuff out, because we were like, yeah, it's not fun, so just take it out. And I wanna see this ruthlessness when it comes to fun testing with this game too. I'm a little bit worried. Probably going to put in a mad about frame rate. Um, and this is the one thing which keeps me up at night. I'm saying this, I think, almost at every stand up. And I'm super happy that we're going to tackle this in the next sprint. Celebrating Blue Solvent. Amazing that we reached that in the game. This is like, I would say, mid tier in the final game, that people can get there, and having this be able to actually reach without crashing the games is amazing. I would say like 2 months ago, not possible, even if the recipes would work like this. Also about amazed by the Kickstarter campaign, and yeah, so I think this can be really cool as exposure for the game. Excited about Blood and Gore. We talked about this already. And yeah, the what I liked in this sprint in particular was how Francisco actually handled these bugs when we were talking about it. I mean, there was, I think, for Francisco some room in so time, I would say, yeah, in tackling these, and not being completely flooded in his normal project work, so that he could take them on, and he fixed a ton of these, and it was amazing to see, right? So there was stuff which we discovered, and then Francisco fixed them the next day or the day after that, and that was pretty cool. That gave me a good feeling. Also, I mean, yeah, just didn't get the sprint goal done by two measly items here, or this one here. So yeah, that's a little bit sad. Yeah, maybe we should talk about why this happened, and then yeah, try to improve on that. Okay, anything to add? Anybody got second thoughts?
Nope.
No? Okay, great. Good. So what I can see is we were all very happy about the sprint. Almost got it done. There was great work from everybody. Game made big steps towards being more stable and more fun. And this is important. Yeah. And now we're going to look at the next sprint. So how do we want to do this? I think we should have like a general discussion about frame rate optimization, and then um, dedicating only a short sprint for finding out what is actually taking up time in producing a frame. Yeah. So how much time do we want to take? 3 days? Is that enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
even a bit less. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I would say just to have profile everything and kind of try to identify like the big, just the main performance culprits.
Yeah.
Which we generally know, but I guess we can also try to investigate a little bit about the more like the macro solutions to it, and not like try to look for smaller optimizations.
I mean, we're looking at what
I
are
agree.
we going to use, the render doc, or what are we going to use for checking out what takes much time?
Yeah,
Mhm.
both
not render doc.
Unity
Yeah.
profiling and render doc.
So
Yeah.
Unity profiler and render
Yep,
doc.
exactly.
Yeah. And I'll probably go through everything and kind of log down how much time. So I think we should use it like a machine of one of you guys as a benchmark. I always say like I would like to have 100 frames per second on Till's computer. Because I think that's Till does not have like the fastest computer. So that would be amazing if that would produce 100 frames. 100 frames is how much? 8 milliseconds per frame. I think we're at 30 or something at the moment.
Shouldn't the goal be like more modest, like 60 frames per second? It's an uninformed question from my side.
No, you want to reach high.
Okay.
Because there's gonna be
but
higher.
I think
in some situations it'll be like more demanding, and we need some leeway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the specs of Till's machine? Do we know?
Yeah. What kind of machine do you have?
I don't have the specs right here. I can look them up afterwards. It's a great gaming PC, I'd say. So I'm playing all these AAA games in the highest settings, and I have no problems whatsoever.
Okay, maybe that's the best. That's not the best one then.
Yeah,
Francisco, I think you have a.
I'm not sure if I have the
Yeah,
worst one.
I'm
Okay,
on a laptop.
Who has a
recently,
potato PC? You have a laptop?
But I wouldn't say it's potato.
It's not potato.
Not quite.
Any potato machines around here? Well, I can. Okay. Well, then we have to get the goal higher, right?
I mean, we can always do it relative. Like, we do a profiling and we do relative comparisons about like the thing that costs the most in one machine. It's going to be the same that costs the most in other machines. Yes. Unless we're talking about some technological, like, like a big difference.
So I clock like so if I'm standing still, not moving around, because this is like this chunk loading thing is completely broken in my opinion.
Mhm.
So if I'm standing still, not doing anything, I'm at 60 frames, right? It would be amazing if that thing would have like 150 while moving around. Maybe that could be the goal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we can maybe already write some of the kind of like the problems and some potential solutions.
Yeah.
So okay, so that the chunk load and unloads.
Yesterday
So
we
for this, mhm.
yesterday we talked about, and correct me if I'm wrong, that one of the problems is just just this huge amount of voxels that is in the surface of the planet. Is that correct?
Mhm.
So I was
Yep.
wondering, would it be possible just to see the effect where for one build we just remove the voxel surface and just have a non-voxel surface? All the assets could be still voxels, and then just see how it looks, how it performs. Again, it's just a question.
Just disabling the terrain
Yeah,
that it does not get rendered.
just to
Sure.
just to see the difference. I was just curious because
Mhm.
I think this game Station to Station, which is like considered a voxel game. I'm not sure if their surface is made out of voxels, because it's just the assets that are placed on top, and it it runs like super fast. So I don't
Yeah,
know if that is the right way to kind of figure these issues out. It's just, again,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, disabling things and just kind of see their impact. It's a fun way to figure out like what's actually causing issue then.
Yeah, and I know Station to Station is like fully meshed, right? And they don't have much in the way of like destruction all the time. Like they make changes pretty seldomly, and just probably just rebuild their meshes, rebuild their chunk meshes as soon as there's a change, and then just sits there again.
Yeah, because
Yeah, which is
I
kind of
guess,
what we were talking about as
yeah,
well.
unless you're like terraforming, or I guess to a certain extent mining, which of course is crucial. But if you don't do that, I guess this voxel surface never is really used, right? I don't know how deep it goes, but it's maybe like I don't know, there for no real reason, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you're totally right. That's something that we talked about with with having like lazy loading, sort of, because we could really do like a height map sort of thing, and really we only need to solve out like the top layer, or like anything that's rendered. For like hills, you'd also have to like figure out like the edges, because like some we color to be cliffs and stuff. Yeah, but this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Is like figuring out, because definitely the chunk loading, that is something that is probably like the largest thing, like as you're scrolling around. So that's definitely somewhere where we have to think about what should be done, what can be done, and also the potential trade-offs of any like optimization, if there are any.
Yeah, so I was also dividing things here, because there's like two things. There's like these things that cause the FPS spikes, such as the chunk load and unload, but also the overall performance when you're like not doing anything at all, just looking at the game. And yeah, I guess like the 100 frames have to happen in the overall performance, and then we also have to make sure that whenever there's these spikes, I mean, either we avoid them completely, or we manage to actually avoid FPS spikes, or at least they're not as bad that they drop below, I don't know, 10% of the overall performance. Because just seeing the like the difference, like even if you have a game that's running at 40 frames per second consistently, it even feels better than one that's running at 100 and then has spikes that puts it down
Yes.
to 20 every so often.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the two things we have to tackle.
Correct. So, I mean, this one question, chunk load and
Mhm.
unload, is it needed for a smaller world? And then, I mean, we have the system in place, the chunk loading and unloading, but the question is it actually needed? So what is the memory usage for a smaller world? So when we
Mhm.
say, okay, well, this world is, I don't know, 5 by 5 square kilometers, you know, and then, so everything goes on in this world. How is this affecting then the memory? Can we load everything into the memory if this is a smaller world? Do we need the chunk loading system and therefore do not have like these frame rate spikes anymore? Yeah. Because I remember, Tony, that we had like
Yeah.
this situation where we moved around and then we kind of slowed down the speed on how you can move with the camera because otherwise it would take too long to load
Mm-hmm.
these chunks. And I want to avoid this. The camera, in my opinion, is only half the speed it actually should be. It's driving me crazy usually, flying around with the camera.
Yeah,
And
and uh-huh.
mm, yeah, and
Yeah, and
also
so like
I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly moving the camera. I mean, it's seldom that I'm stationary and do stuff. I'm even if I'm building stuff and moving around, I'm using the cursors. You know, this is yeah, and every time it kind of had like these spikes while doing that. Yeah. It adds. I mean, in the end, why are we doing this, right? It is about this perception of stability. Yeah. I have to stress now in this time while we're working on this game. This perception of stability, like these FPS spikes, they don't give you like the feeling this game is pretty stable. Yeah, and
Mhm.
therefore it would be suddenly a bad review. People go like, yeah, it's not well done. So we have to get rid of these just for this perception of stability alone. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so I think I have to say about like this sort of, you know, pipeline here is even if you have a smaller world, right? And it's like quote unquote smaller world, you know, because like not infinite, it doesn't necessarily mean it's like small, right? It's only gonna fit in like one screen, and so you're still limited by your memory, and so pushing that down, you know, be one thing, but even still, like, yeah, you still wouldn't have like the entire world loaded for like a number of reasons, right? There's like no reason to have all the voxels, you know, like way off, um, you know, loaded if you don't need it. And then separately is like spread better between frames. So the problem with this, right, is that if you're moving very fast, you know, and let's say, you know, there's no fog of war, and so you're seeing everything, right? Then as you're moving fast enough, the world has to load and be ready before you get there, right? And so if you think of Minecraft, let's say, and you're like walking, you know, you'll never see them loading. But if you like are debug flying, even Minecraft with like its very large chunks, it's async, and so it's not gonna like freeze you. And so that's one problem is we have some like sync points because we're trying to like load it essentially like right away, before the camera hits it. But even in Minecraft, you know, you'll see that the chunks are like taking a while to load around you. You know, like it's not like instantaneous at a certain speed. Um, and so really like we have to get better about loading. So pushing down, you know, I think the amount of memory that we have per chunk is a big thing. I like just looking at the job, this like load chunk job. it's kind of big, and I'm assuming that it's just like allocating the buffer for all the voxel data as soon as we need it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think first we actually have to figure out within chunk load and load what's actually the issue behind it, to figure out actually. So figure out first if you can do something about it, and then if we cannot, actually consider some of these other things. Because I know also terrain generation, when you actually load the chunk for the first time, is also slightly heavy. Yeah, but even after terrain generation, it's still heavy. So there's definitely more to it than that.
Yeah. I also think that like yeah, this is like these spikes are one thing, and then yeah, there's like overall performance. Yeah, so I think it's gonna end up being, like we fix the spikes, and then we figure out where we're kind of bound, optimizing certain jobs like the floral growth, or I'm assuming we're gonna be GPU bound, like on Till's machine. Yeah, I just have a feeling that is kind of what it is these GPU bound.
What about greedy meshing, or going like, okay, well, this we're going mesh for terrain?
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we should look at and test like we were saying, for everything to move to meshing. Yeah, it's going to be like way too much stuff to do. There'll be like too many things that potentially need to be done. Versus the terrain, we don't do anything. Like we don't do any like rendering tricks with it or anything. It just sits there all the time. And so yeah, so it's actually kind of a perfect thing to like do a first pass test on it. Yeah, because then also every time we load a chunk, we don't have to worry about lazy loading, because we won't, we're not going to be pushing voxel data really whatsoever over to the GPU. We just have to make a mesh and set up the UVs, set up the materials, and render it.
So whenever voxel, yeah, and that's what.
Yeah, well, yeah, and so that's really the biggest kind of mystery as of right now is like, yeah, sort of how exactly we want to do that, because like just setting up a texture like let's say like an albedo texture, and setting every pixel to the right pixel, for a chunk, I think it's going to be like this huge texture per chunk, and so ideally, it'll be something that we can just like set up the UVs and they'll point to a texture that has like like some amount of material, like voxel materials that we can then look up in our compute buffer. Yeah, so I think even with the meshing, we can like take it, implement the meshing, and then have a very good idea on like the performance differences before we kind of go through all the steps of like implementing, like get it back up to feature parity essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
so
yeah, just
please.
to finish on that. So I think also something you have to consider is we have been like iterating on ray marching, doing improvements to it like consistently for a while, and always with that system in mind. And then when we move to meshing, we're gonna go through kind of the same process. We need to. It's not just implementing meshing, but also doing all of the potential optimizations that we can do to it. Kind of what we are doing to ray marching, we're gonna have to kind of do it again for meshing, and that will have an added cost there as well. Because both systems have you can implement a very basic implementation of it, and then you have to optimize it. It's just as Tony was describing, like you have a huge texture for it. I'm sure there's like so many potential optimizations that we can look for there, and yeah, that will take time for sure.
Okay. But would be meshing one of the better candidates where you say, well, that is there lies the most frame rate optimization, perhaps?
I mean, looking at just the chunk, like if that's mostly what's taking the frame time, which we'll have to look in render doc again, because yeah, kind of figuring out what are the expensive the expensive passes. Yeah, that's mostly what it'll be, and perhaps it is terrain. It could also be flora. Yeah.
Shadows mostly.
Yeah. So it'll be it's for sure. It's for sure the shadows. Going back through it a number of times.
I think the shadow map. I think I'm still thinking. If we kind of split the shadow map up into objects which are moving fast, like the pawns and stuff on a conveyor belt, and then there's shadow maps, or then there's shadows for stuff which is kind of static, and then maybe go like, okay, well, how's about we're not having a full sun moving all the time, but have like different stages where they are, where the sun is, like I don't know, if we bring it down to 5 stations where it is on the daylight, and then there's the moonlight, which is like I don't know 2 or 3 light sources for shadows, and then calculate this. So then I think you can take a lot of computation out of that per frame. I think at the moment we're creating the shadow map per frame, correct?
For the directional light, it updates. It updates every so often. I don't know if it's per frame,
okay.
but it's often. Otherwise, you see it.
Yeah, and you calculate it for everything. I think I remember we were kind of testing out if like every 20 frame or something. So what was like almost every second, and then you had like these pioneers walking and their shadow were like following them, which looked ridiculous. But it made me thinking of, okay, what about if like the shadows for people? I mean, they get calculated all the time, and then you have like stuff on the conveyor belt also all the time. But like for structures, I mean, you don't have to calculate it every time or so often. I mean, every time something changes in a structure, then you can calculate it. So you don't have to do it all the time. And then also, what if the sun? I mean, the sun is moving, and I mean, we have like this really interesting effect, of course, so that the shadows are kind of flowing over the ground. And it looks nice. But what if we say, okay, well, the sun is kind of moving like only in 5 stages, and then we make like a smooth transition over it, kind of a fixed lighting. It doesn't have to be dynamic. I mean, that could be also something where we go like, okay, well, this is, I mean, it's barely noticeable for the player. Maybe we get even a little bit more power over how every stage of a day looks like, light-wise, and then for calculating the shadows, it only happens like once they go into this either day cycle, or every time they make a destruction of the or building something. Yeah, so kind of splitting up the shadow map.
Yeah, well. So either way, we're gonna have like a ton of dynamic objects. So we'll have, like the flora constantly moving, the trees constantly moving, items on the conveyor belts moving, and so in the end, there will be some static stuff that we'll skip, but for all the dynamic stuff, you'd still have to update it often, like very often.
Yeah, I think with the trees and the grass, you could calculate also at once, for that particular day of time of day, and then that should be fine. I don't think it's going to look weird.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I would prefer optimizations to the systems. Yeah, over
More
something
macro
that.
things.
Yeah, versus a very specific kind of fix to it. Yeah, because I'm sure that there are things like let's say so basically shadow maps will never be very viable and performant and look very good if we have ray marching. If we had all meshes, then we could go back to having multiple cascades. Because rendering actual geometry that we're not stepping into, is very fast. Nothing beyond like trees would have a lot of vertices probably. And yeah, and that's just really going to be the way it is. That's why we have one cascade. Without going to ray tracing, doing anything with shadow maps and ray marched stuff is not. It's not going to be the best combination of the two systems. They're kind of at odds with each other. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Ambient occlusion. I think. What about having while we're doing frame rate optimization, also working on some features which might come with benefits which are easily to implement? Because I looked at a lot of videos where you get a lot of great results when it comes to how the game looks like by optimizing actually the frame rate. For example, there's this one video where they implemented greedy meshing, and then as a side product, they were able to add this amazing ambient occlusion. I think we have ambient occlusion already in the games. It actually looks like it, but cranking it up also to an obscene amount made it more looking interesting. It doesn't have to be realistic, but it looked more interesting. You get a more feeling for death in the game, and I don't know if that's something which we were missing. And would be cool if we were looking at not only the optimization part, but going okay, well, if you're going to optimize it in this way, maybe we can even implement this so that the game looks even better.
Yeah. So for ambient occlusion, we have a post processing pass. It's just a screen space ambient occlusion. Yeah. So it's not super accurate or anything. And the problem with it is if you crank it up, a lot of times what happens is you get these dark circles around depth changes, where you wouldn't normally get it. Yeah, and so that's actually also something that like this video saw severe. I'm assuming this is a voxel engine, and what they implemented is ray trace ambient occlusion, which either comes kind of dynamically from ray tracing your shadows, just kind of randomly sending out your rays. You'll get some kind of ambient occlusion, mostly from your second bounce lighting, I guess.
I
Yeah.
think in that video in particular, I think he goes like through 3 possible versions on how to add ambient occlusion, and then the best one where he actually do not use any more computer power was he he kind of tagged it along with the normal rendering process and by adding, I think.
Yeah, I know this guy. Yeah.
You know this guy? Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was actually a great video because he went through all the pros and cons for these different versions on adding ambient inclusion, and he actually ended up with one which almost does not take any computer power away. Plus, worked great for him and looked good. Yeah.
Can we call the middle part frames with benefits? I'm quietly deleting my Discord. Yes.
Frames with benefits. Love that one. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Good. Then how are we going about? So we said 3 days. That would be oops.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna start right away, like profiling, and like we're gonna soon start talking about it. And
Mhm.
I mean, I don't really know how long it's gonna take. Maybe tomorrow we already have a good enough idea about what needs to be tackled.
Yeah,
Or how-
yeah, because I tend to agree, right? Like we're gonna see like the large things, and that's like, you know, the first thing to take on. You know, so like the chunk spikes, you know, that's like basically gonna be the first thing that we look at, you know, because it is like so obvious looking at the profiler, you know, what's there, and so it's really gonna be talking about that, you know, very quickly, and like how we want to tackle it, you know, and then once we kind of get there, you know, then we can find the next thing, which is probably the voxel GPU upload. Just off the top of my head, I guess they both, yeah, they're kind of separate, but.
What be cool is this is one game. How's it called again? Oh, it's kind of strategy game, and they have like this thing where they test out the best video settings for your computer, and they have like this scene where they fly over
Sure.
with the camera over a scene which they prepared. It's and then you have like all the like units walking around shooting, etc., explosions and so on, and they do this like, I don't know, 10 times or something, and then in the end they come around and go like, well, the best settings for your computer is this, you know. Not saying that we're going to have something similar for finding out what is the best settings for a player, but it would be cool to have it as a kind of a benchmark scene, so that we go like, okay, well, this time it clocked 65 frames on this machine, or it clocked 100 frames, you know, so that we get a kind of a feeling of how we progress. And it doesn't have to be it can be a save file, you know, where it just goes around in circles automatically, you know, kind of loading the save file, and then I press something in the debug menu, and it just goes around in circles, and then we kind of see if it's going fast or if it's going as slow as before. I would be offering myself to create this scene, but we need this feature where the camera just moves around automatically, and then we need something where we can show the frames, maybe the peaks, and it's like the lowest, the
Well,
highest, and the one
you
at
can
the
use the
moment.
profiler for the frame information.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so also, so I'm kind of wondering, you know, like I guess, yeah. So we want this 100 frames in build. I think using the editor as, you know, it's kind of like a guideline a little bit. versus the builds are like actually what you'll see.
So what is the question? Sorry, what did you say?
Sorry, I was just saying that also like even if we're targeting 100 frames per second, you should not expect 100 frames in the editor, because with all the overhead, the editor will always perform worse than a build. Yeah.
Okay. Then we need this frame rate overlay. Yeah, because you're not in the editor then. Highest peak.
Yeah, we should at least display the frame rates, but we can still plug the profiler from the editor to a build
Really?
to get more
True.
information if we want. Yes, but if like for you, if you want to just have a look at the frame rate, we can make a simple overlay. Just have an idea.
Frame rate overlay. So which I can activate through the debug menu. Okay. Yeah, I can do the save file. Yeah, the camera just has to perform a circle. Yeah.
And also load chunks.
Yeah, I mean it's going to load chunks, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
For the
maybe
ones,
moving around like half a screen,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then with this thing here, we can kind of clock where the game is heading. Highest peak, lowest current, and activatable through the debug menu. I mean, even we can have the save file from debug menu. Can be part of the game already. Just delivered with the game, and then you click on it, and then it loads that file, and then automatically does its thing. Yeah.
Oops. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Where do we put the findings? In here, Miro?
Yeah, I think just write them here. Like we'll create like new stickers for particular systems that have problems and just kind of write the problem down.
Yeah.
And potential solutions.
Okay, good. And then on Friday we talk about what we found. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Friday. What would be the best? I mean, Friday. I mean, for you then would be. Where on Friday? Oh well, I'm on a wedding on Friday. God damn it! Totally forgot about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say also. So Monday is my anniversary. That's Sunday. So I was gonna move that day to next Friday. So not take the time off, but just move it and work my Saturday basically. But it's looking like this is gonna be the planning sort of.
What kind of anniversary?
A wedding.
Oh,
a marriage.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's 6 years now.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, really crazy.
Congrats.
Thanks.
I might not be here for Thursday. For the sprint. I might be busy with university, but Friday should be all right.
Oh yeah, actually,
Okay.
tomorrow I also have a public holiday, Independence Day in Portugal.
Okay.
God damn it. Okay, well then it's Monday, I guess, huh? Just adding Monday here. Okay, the sprint is going 4 days then, probably. Okay. Good. Anything on Monday for me? No. We're good. Mm-mm-mm. Yes. Okay, you're working Saturday then. Yeah. But how do we
Yep.
present this stuff then? Or when do we present this stuff?
Yeah, I think probably yeah, Francisco can present it. I think basically you know, like we're saying, we're probably gonna know what we're working on. You know, by Friday, we'll probably already have started on stuff that'll bleed over.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we figure it out. Yeah. For
Yeah.
me myself, so I won't be available on Wednesday, Thursday next week, but we're gonna figure this out. Okay.
Okay.
Good. What is this? Work which doesn't need power. Go. Okay. Okay. We want to do the burn down search for this one here. Who hasn't done it before? Tony, Leon, Till.
I can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been a while.
Easy. For 5 days.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, this is Monday then, 29th.
yeah. Actually, I already have like a render dog screenshot, but I don't know. Maybe I'll take
Please.
another one.
Yeah, show me.
And I also have a deep profile from Unity, from like 2 days ago.
Okay, good. Anything else for our graphics department? I mean, you keep going, working on, I guess the miner and your Kickstarter graphics.
Yeah, I just wanted to check back with Tilo. Is there any time limit where it has to be done?
You talking to me or Till?
No, Till, sorry.
No, I mean maybe end of the week, maybe let's see, maybe I don't know, beginning of next week. Is that manageable?
Okay. That'll be a tough one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, then just take your time because I'll be busy in collecting all these informations that we still need. So there's no rush.
All right. Yeah, you still need the second artwork as well. The
Yeah,
render.
you can finish the first one and we can have a look at it and then we can decide if you start on the second one. So for context, the second one is a voxel kind of a voxelized, stylized capsule art. And the idea was to compare both of these and then settle for one, but maybe the first one's already enough, so then you don't have to start on the second one. We can discuss this once this is finished.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. I'll gladly do a 3D art as well. There is no need.
Yeah.
I will be. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and just checking in. On Thursday, I will also be absent.
Okay.
Yeah, I will probably spend some time polishing the last remaining bits and pieces of the main menu, or the whole menu in general. And yeah, then I will probably aid Aaron in the attempts to animate the new mining laser.
Okay. And if you still
And
have time for that, yeah, I would like to see if you could make this splitter here.
Pardon?
This asset here over here, if you follow my mouse.
Oh, I think
Splitter.
Leon.
Like a conveyor belt splitter.
Yeah.
I think Leon might have not been there for this meeting when we talk about the splitter.
Honestly, I have been waiting for such a thing to be added, and I would absolutely love working on it.
Great. Okay. And then also including the animation, something I know where he goes like like these things from you can't remember when credit cards were actually a really silly thing where you had to put that in. People took out a machine and go like, you remember this one? No.
No,
Credit card
I'm
reader?
afraid not.
No, that's way before your time.
Also, credit cards aren't something I was in touch with, more like debit cards and stuff.
Yeah. It kind of made imprint on some piece of paper. Yeah, this thing here. Whoop.
I'll be looking for you. Ah,
Yeah.
um,
I'm copying the thing. I mean, if you see the stream, I'm trying to get the thing over here. Paste. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. This thing here. Remember this one? No.
mhm.
Well, this thing
No.
went like, okay, so this bulky thing on the left side, you could move over to the red side and then go back, and then so it kind of moved over all the time. Maybe something similar, where it kind of actually, can I remove the background here? Yeah, perfect. This thing,
I
where it
see.
goes like
Okay.
from one side to another, and kind of splitting up stuff.
Okay, so either it lets it go and move along the destined path like this, or it just snatches the item and puts it out on the other path.
Yeah, right. But it's 50-50,
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Mhm.
So it should probably be quite fast if it's supposed to be
Yeah,
50-50.
yeah, it's going to be. I mean, this thing goes in and goes out one of these sides, and this thing in the middle kind of jumps right. I mean, the animation goes like this as soon as something enters here, right? Yeah.
Great. I would love if I can do some sketches for that in Photoshop and not
Yeah.
start in Magic Voxel right away, because I feel like if I have the liberty to sketch these things first, the shapes end up looking more interesting.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and
All right, cool.
Amilcar was bringing a good question. Is it going to have two inputs as well? The split
No, only one.
only one?
Mhm.
So you can have to mix. So if you want to have two conveyors, you have to mix them first before putting into.
Well, if you have two conveyors, then probably you're gonna do something. Sorry, copy
I
paste.
might have to say be right back. Very sorry about that.
No worries. I mean, you can kind of get the same result with three splitters then, like one in the like one which you turn around, and then, I mean, yes, yeah. Question is if you could also use this the other way around, so if you not only one input and two output, but like two input and one output, something like this, where it kind of mixes up the stuff. I would say we could just go with the
like
this
a
one.
merger. Yeah.
A merger, a splitter and a merger. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, and so also, do we only have this one port, like on this side, or can you also have a conveyor belt on this side coming in?
Yeah, I would say
Like
mix everything.
I would say for now
Yeah.
this. So, and then you have to find your way around it.
Okay.
No.
Sure.
Cool, but good idea with the merger. Yeah. Gonna put it up here. Okay. It's kind of a mini roadmap here with all the stuff which we discovered in the playtest lately. Remember this one? Yeah. Okay, good. Anything else? Till, you're busy with the Kickstarter?
Yep.
I assume. Okay. Good. So what I want to do now is actually play with you guys a little game, little round of Among Us. And I'm also inviting all people watching, if they have Among Us, if they want to play with us. I'm gonna share the code in here, but I think we're gonna move from this stage to the Witchcraft channel. Are we? Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
And there's still
makes sense.
some comments in the chat.
Yes. Comments. Okay, we can address these. Does it have 2 inputs too? No. It's gonna be 1 input. The other one, if it has 2 inputs, then it's probably gonna be a merger then. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're not home at home right now, Hamilcar? Okay. Where are you
Yeah.
watching? At school? At school? At work?
Yeah, I actually do think it's kind of an interesting idea. Yeah, to have like, I don't know, like some kind of a dynamic something, based on the inputs. Because either way, we have to now like implement this kind of port logic.
You're with Splitter still?
I'm just talking about what what this guy said about combining both machines. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean we can continue this discussion while we murder each other on Among Us. Okay, everybody has Among Us. I think we can stop the
Yeah.
stream here.
Yeah.
and,
Thank you
Cool.
guys. See you next
Okay.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. See you then. We're moving off to Witchcraft and